Hello and welcome to Open. I'm Rhina Valentin, your hosty Café con Leche for the next hour. Always inviting you to get social with us, online that is. Tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV or like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, while you're there, don't forget, follow moi on Twitter, Instagram, FB, Insta Stories, LinkedIn, and Snapchat at Rhina Valentin. The Sweetness Circle is a collective transforming existence through healing and teaching the community about herbal medicine, spiritual awareness, and decolonization practices while also celebrating the joy of life across the diaspora. Our guest has teamed up with Kingsbridge Heights Community Garden to hold a gathering named the Mystic Garden, which will include everything from a healing workshop, meditation, music, snacks, vendors, views for participants, and all more, and a little bit more. And joining us to tell us more, we welcome the Sweetness Circle founder, Flo Glow. Hello and welcome. I know, as you should feel. And we are so happy to have you on. And I would like to introduce a little bit of your story to our audience. So if you could really sum it up in a short synopsis version, just share a little bit about what brought you to this place of creating this circle.
So I'm born and raised in the Bronx, and growing up I always felt a little different. I always felt like I saw things in ways that are a little different than the people around me. And as I got older, I realized it wasn't different. It was more so that other people didn't feel like they had spaces to be who they were. And I'm kind of just a wacky person. I'm very loud, I'm very in your face, and I'm very present with everything that I feel. So meeting other people that were like me or were expressive in that way kind of made me realize this is something that we need more of. So when I started working with crystals and herbal medicine, I realized how much it helped me transform myself through mental illness, through anxiety and issues like that. And excuse me, I thought more about all the different things that are placed in front of us in terms of just not having spaces to be full and be present. And especially as people of color, we're not really encouraged to go to therapy or to seek help in many cases. So I figured it would be important to start a circle where folks can come in and talk and actually be full and free, and cry if they need to.
Right. Well, crying is good. It's a form of release, right? And so my question to you is, like, when you started working with the crystals, what is it that you found or that you discovered in your essence of being as a human being?
Well, what I first learned is that we're all really deeply interconnected, as cliche as it sounds at this point. But my first crystal was a larimar. And then my second one was an amethyst. And during the time that I started working with amethyst, I had really bad anxiety. It would be hard for me to go into space with a lot of people. And anytime I would hold this crystal, I would just feel like a calm wish over me. It would be like a purple cloud would come over my head. My thoughts would become a lot clearer and sparser. And it would just be easier to connect with my intuition. And the more that I worked with this crystal, the more that I felt that. I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like, I was never taught this. And I was kind of just like, okay, well, I want to share this with everyone. So I got a bunch of them and I started giving them to my friends. And it was incredible. And I was like, okay, Mother Earth, you lit. We're doing this.
I like that. I like that a lot, Mother Earth. And so you brought some items here, and it looks like some are essential oils. You've got some candles. Let's talk a little bit about this because, again, we're not playing, but we're exercising the consciousness of our senses and how they impact the way we feel, right? And so both of them would loan themselves to scent, and of course the candle to sight as well, because there's light that you're also illuminating. So let's talk a little bit about these particular items that you brought with you.
Definitely. So this is an oil called Silence that I made for anxiety and bringing in peace. You can also use it if you'd like to. So what I typically do is I'll put it on my forehead, my wrists, and the back of my neck. It has lots of lavender. I stewed it in oil with lavender and cottonwood, as well as hyssop, which are all really wonderful for bringing peace and clarity. This is a psychic alignment oil. Well, tincture technically.
Psychic alignment oil.
Yeah.
Wait, I took it down. I should write. This is the psychic alignment oil.
Yeah.
Okay, and so let's talk about that.
Yeah. So I'm also a reader. I read tarot. I do a bunch of different forms of divination. And I find that sometimes when a lot is happening, it's hard for me to read for myself because I have so much energy from other people, or when I'm around a lot of people, I feel like I pick up a lot. So this is a tincture that kind of helps simmer down and helps bring in more clarity. It's really relaxing. I've had it stewing for months. And I've shared it with other friends, and it's easier for them to channel, it's easier for them to read, and it's easier for them to just listen to their own guides and their own intuition. So I really like it.
That's interesting. No, it's wonderful. I noticed that there's this consciousness that's coming into this generation of just knowing that there's more to us than just this, right? This shell, which is our human form, right? And so this whole aspect of you, I'm just like, wow, there's a conversation being had about that because, you know, not everybody believes in that, but the truth of the matter is that it's all mystical, right? Hence the name of your garden.
Yeah, I think it's super important just because there are so many layers to us, as you say, and I think it's important that people become comfortable with knowing that that's a thing and that it's not something they need to be afraid of. Us, especially as people of color, most of our indigenous cultures have cultures around knowing, around being able to see the signs in nature and in ourselves, which is part of what I want to bring to Mystic Garden in alignment with plant medicine and tapping in.
Right, so let's talk about what people should expect being part of the Mystic Garden.
Yeah. So it's going to be in Kingsbridge Heights Community Center, which is a really, really beautiful space. The garden that's next to it is run, or the farm manager is a queer person of color, and they were really interested in having us there. So basically, part of what's going to happen is we'll have one of our friends, her name is Sarika, coming in to teach us how to work with foraged plant medicine. So we're going to go to Kingsbridge, to Van Cortlandt and forage some different plant medicines like chickweed and mugwort and bring them back so folks can learn what they look like, what they smell like, how to tap into these plants, and how to use them to make medicine. So that's one. The second workshop we're going to have is called Spelling, which will be run by me. And it's teaching folks how to use the words that they speak to bring in different things into their lives and how to be mindful of what happens when they say certain words, what situations can be created. And we're also going to have a prayer circle for folks in the Amazon who are dealing with a bunch of different forms of pain and trauma.
Right, well, the fires are still occurring, and there's a lot of other messaging going on with this occurrence. And I understand that you guys are going to form a circle to transmit energy to those who are suffering or enduring. Wonderful. It's all about that consciousness.
Absolutely.
Okay, and so are there any last words you want to share?
Be nice to yourselves, be nice to each other. Come to Sweetness Circle because it's going to be great and you deserve to heal yourself and be nice to yourself in community. And I'm grateful to be here.
Oh my goodness, we're grateful to have you here. Thanks for bringing this energy here, Miss Flo Glow. Yes. You guys, the Mystic Garden, that's going to be taking place on Saturday, August 31st at the Kingsbridge Heights Community Garden, which is located at 3101 Kingsbridge Terrace, and that's taking place from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. And for more on Sweetness Circle, be sure to check out the collective on Instagram at the Sweetness Circle. We do have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll hear about a worker cooperative business specializing in handmade greeting cards. Don't go anywhere.